to my channel. My name is Olufumi and this is Live Symphony with Olufumi. Of course, that's me. Okay, first of all, it's I almost cannot believe that we're already in the fifth month of 2021. We're already in May. In fact, May is literally wrapping up already. And I know that the last video I posted here was in January. Honestly, I had a whole lot planned for this channel when at the beginning of the year. But yeah, stuff happened. Yep. Well, we're still on course. No worries. Several more things coming your way. And I think that's what I really want. I really would love to talk about. Just very recently, I was working on my phone and I think I just sent an email or something. Next thing, my phone just flickered and went blank. It didn't fall. It did not fall. So it was not like, okay, it had fallen and something had happened, or maybe it gave me some kind of. There was no warning. It just went blank. I am looking at the phone in shock, wondering. I mean, when your brain is trying to process something, I couldn't fathom for the life of me what could have made that happen. And this was right in the middle of a work day. I wouldn't lie. I would not lie to you. I'll be very honest. That first day it happened, at least even until the next day, if I'm being very sincere, I was completely thrown off balance because first of all, I least expected that to happen. It was not even on my agenda. Of course, interestingly, I've had plans to change my phone, but I wasn't thinking of repairing the one I'm currently using. I just thought, okay, sometime soon, whatever in the future, I would love to get a new phone. Maybe one of, especially because of the channel, my whole, the whole recording videos and all that. But it really wasn't in my, near, we say immediate goals, so to say. So I was one, and like I said, there was no warning, nothing. It just went off. I was destabilized, if I permit me to use that word. And I'm thinking to myself, in life, that's actually what happens. That happens. Sometimes we have this well laid out goals. No, number one, I want to achieve this. Number two, I want to do this. By this time, I would have done this, done that, done that. And things don't go quite according to plan. And sometimes it's not necessarily about you. Sometimes the things that throw these plans off track could be external factors, could be things beyond your controls, just like how last year we all literally had to go, into our homes. It was circumstances beyond. People had so many things planned out. The people had already planned the year, the 2020, right from the beginning of the year. Some even from the previous years, they had so many things they wanted to do, and suddenly all of those were disrupted. And I thought to myself, really, while we make those plans, it's sweet to make those plans. Honestly speaking, I think at this point we actually also need to start making plans for some, let's say, unexpected occurrences. I know, yes, you cannot possibly, because I couldn't possibly have imagined that my phone would have an issue. I mean, if it's something that maybe happened to it earlier, I would have said, okay, there's a possibility this screen might go blank soon, or maybe it has started giving me signs earlier, and I'll say, oh, this thing it may happen soon or something. Maybe this screen may soon go blank because of what it's doing. But there was no warning, there was no sign. And you see, in life, that happens. But then we have a choice. Either we sit and we cry and we grouse, we complain, we have a pity party over what happened, how our plans got disrupted or ruined, or how things just happened to us, what we didn't plan for, it happened, or maybe you invested something and it went down the drain in a way you never expected. We could sit down and cry and all of that, and just feel bad over and over again with that. That's one option. No, you actually have a choice to do that, or you get up and move on. You get up and begin to think, okay, this has happened now. What can I do? Because you see, when my phone went blank, the very first day, it was literally like my brain was not processing. I almost could not think of what to do. I was just what I tried different things to try to get the phone to come back on. It wasn't working. I was so centered around it. It was like I think by the next day, or I think even the next 2 days, I began to think, okay, what can I do? Can I put my SIM in something? What other device can I use? How can I continue my work? That was when I started thinking. And after that, once I began to do that, came up with an alternative, I literally moved on with my life. And I was able to get other things done while waiting for the phone to be fixed. So in life, things like this happen all the time. You have these plans. You want to do this. You want to travel somewhere. Maybe you wanted to travel somewhere you had planned, and the next thing, unexpectedly, you were denied visa, or maybe you had thought that you would marry at so time. All of a sudden, the person you're supposed to marry at the last minute said, "I'm not. I don't want to marry again." All of these things. It has every potential to throw you off balance, destabilize you, whatever it is. I understand that, but then you have a choice. You sit down, you cry, or you sit on that spot worrying or pity or crying over what has happened, or you begin to think, what else can I do? What alternative do I have? Okay, if there are no alternatives, can I move on with my life? For example, the whole recently, the world of cryptocurrency, there was a really massive dip and all that. And I've been seeing status updates here. People think, of course, I understand. For some people, they borrowed money. For some people, this is their life's investment, literally like decrease in value. But there is nothing you can do. It's not like you're sitting down and crying or worrying or going into depression is going to change what has happened. It's not going to change what has happened. What has happened has happened. So what you should be thinking about now is what's next? What's they say going forward. They use the term going forward. What's the way forward? Yes, that's the term. What's the way forward? So this has happened. It's terrible. It's painful. It's sad. It could be even humiliating to you, but it has happened. So what's the way forward? Else you're just going to be in one spot crying over, as they say, spilt milk. You understand? So I just thought to share that with you. And I think another thing I learned for my phone going blank was, how sometimes we lie to ourselves. you know, Before that happened, people always, some are like my family members and close friends, say, "Oh, for me, you're always on your phone. Oh, you're always." Of course, yes, I do some stuff on my phone. I work on my phone, but I'll be very sincere with you. Too many times I think I spend quite some time doing other stuff, maybe chatting or just catching up with events, catching up with what's happening out there. And when this happened, I came to terms with the fact that I was very attached to my phone. I had denied it for so long, And if somebody had told me, of course, like I said, if people told me, and I would say, no, that's not true, that's not correct. But I realized how attached I was to my phone. It was literally like an extra appendage. And you see, that's what happens to a lot of us. We are so attached to our devices, and I think sometimes we actually forget to live in the real world, so to say. And like I told you, the first day I was literally off balance. I was so destabilized. And I had to then ask myself at some point, because it was almost becoming a problem. I never thought I would be in that situation, to have such, like, I was almost having anxiety attacks, or what would I say? Because at some point I think I was almost panicking. But then, of course, after the first day, the second day, I had to ask myself, or rather, I told myself, yes, I asked myself, I said, only for me, there was a time, or rather, for me, there was a time where people didn't have the phones, they didn't have devices, and they were okay. I know somebody might say, oh, but the world was not as online as it was then, so you can't compare. I understand that perfectly, but all I'm trying to say is, you can be a part of the online world or whatever it is, but it is also very possible to be so dependent on your phone that your phone literally controls your life. I'll be very honest. I'll be very honest. So I really think that's something that we need to look into. I once asked a friend, I said, can you live without your phone for a day? You know, I think this person is actually worse than I am, really. Because, but I had to ask. I said, "Can you live without your phone?" There are some people, if their phones are not in their hand, they feel incomplete. It's like, "Where's my phone? Where's my phone?" You know, if they don't see their phone for 5 minutes, where's my phone? What's up? You know, and I think that's a problem. Honestly, I think that's sometimes I see events and even let's even leave crowded events where people go for concerts and they don't enjoy the concert. We all carry our phones, we're recording. But I've seen settings, dinner settings, that people have so lost their sense of etiquette that you're at a dinner with somebody and instead of focusing on that, you're on your phone. I've seen several videos of that and I'm wondering, really now, because that's poor etiquette. You just, for someone like me, what I do is if I'm out with a friend, having lunch or dinner, I know it's a fight, so I'm not going to form like I'm good at it. But I try as much as possible to put my phone on silent and I put it away. Because whether you say, oh, it's on silent, but it's beside you, if you see it ring, you're going to be distracted. Of course, if there's urgent work, it could be on silent beside you. Then if you know this is your, then you excuse yourself from the table. But not that you're on your phone pressing. You are supposed to be talking to people on the table. You're supposed to be engaging with others, but you're pressing. And it's supposed to be an outing with friends. We see that all the time. Of course, I'm not about to start a one man campaign against the use of phones, but you are on my channel, and of course, you're watching this video. But I just thought to drop that thought, share that thought with you, really. And it's something you can look at yourself, and if you can work on it, honestly, it would. I think it would really help because in a way, I would say, of course, I may not have done the research, but I would say that our dependence on phones, it just could be why people no longer really know how to have good, solid relationships in the terms of for example, people are so short fused these days. I mean, you say something, you're trying to maybe chat with somebody or comment somewhere or reply somebody on social media. You literally have to be extra careful how you say what you say so that the person doesn't misunderstand you. There's that. I'm not saying that okay, people shouldn't be sensitive to what they say to others, but some people have also become so overly sensitive. They pick everything someone says and they make a big deal out of it. And I'm wondering, for crying out loud, there are people these days that if you disagree with them, they cannot take it. They cannot take you disagreeing with them. You cannot have a different opinion from them, or you cannot have a different opinion from the crowd. So you see, find people maybe wanting to have, same opinion with others just because they don't want to be attacked for being different. All of those things are, I feel, are critical parts of human relationships that for me, that's what I'm saying. For me, being on the phone may have affected that. I'm just saying, like I said, I didn't do my research because I feel if we spend more time talking more in person, I mean, you're talking, you're engaging in conversation. Because, for example, you're talking to somebody in person, you the truth about it is you might not want to really degenerate into exchanging insulting words or breaking bottles or whatever it is, in the person's head or whatever, you know at the most your the tone of your voice or the volume of your voice would rise and all at the most, or the your tone of voice would change. But you see people on social media insulting themselves, throwing nasty words at themselves that they know that if they see themselves in person, they may not even be able to do such things. So that's actually why I said that. So but really, as a person, oh boy, I think that's something you should look into. And sometimes, some hours, just set your, like my phone has something that I really love. It has what it calls focus mode, and in that mode, it literally turns off all the apps, only maybe very important things that you allow that seep through. And I think sometimes we need that, especially today in today's world. You need that focused time to focus on your family, time to focus on your friends. And of course, somebody might say, but my friends are on the phone, or my family is on the phone. Well, I know that, I get what you mean, but It's a lot of work we have in this age, honestly speaking. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It is. Anyways, um, as much as you can, you have to find a way to protect, give yourself that space. Very recently I was discussing with some people about mental health, and someone said something which I totally agree with, that during the lockdown of 2020, it was from then that mental health seemed to really, the awareness of it seemed to increase. And I would say yes, I would agree, because the events of 2020, I think it made because people were isolated, were in their homes by themselves. The activities were drastically reduced. A lot of people were forced to face themselves. They were forced to face themselves. Some were forced to face their demons, or rather the spirits that troubled them, the things that troubled them. And it was not a pretty sight. So sometimes you need that time to get to know. You always talk about getting to know people, but have you gotten to know yourself? I think I'll discuss that on another this then. I think I've talked long enough for this one. We'll discuss that definitely. And um it's good to be back, and I hope to stay back. Interestingly, I have some videos I've already recorded, so I hope to post those. I'll have to listen to them again and see what I said in those videos, but definitely I really hope to be more consistent. Life has happened, stuff has happened, and it's now up to me to decide what to do with it. And I'll say so to you as well. Things happen. Life may not have gone as you've planned, as you've envisioned it in your mind, or whatever, but whatever it is, it's still your life. So it means you still have the final say in it. All right. So I'll see you on the next episode. I'll see you in the next video or episode, whatever you want to call it. I'll see you next time. Remember, my name is Olufumi, and this is Live Symphony with Olufumi. Have you subscribed to my channel? If you are not, what are you waiting for? Big shout out to all my subscribers. You guys are the real MVPs. I will say it if I have to say it every episode I come on, I will say it. You know what it means to come on every time. I'm not so consistent, but the number of subscribers keep increasing. I don't care whether it's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't mind. When I come and I see 270, next thing I see 274, 272, 273. I'm always so excited, like, oh my god, somebody stopped by and thought to click subscribe on my channel. I'm always so grateful, and I thank you so much for that. So if you're yet to subscribe and you're watching this video, do hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. And of course, if you've already subscribed, please be a sweet darling that you are, and share to your contacts. Like this video, share, and subscribe. So I'll talk to you soon. I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Talk to you soon. Do have um good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching from. Bye. Mwah.